Good morning, Fishbourne School. Good morning, big fish and little fish. It is lovely to be together today for our assembly. I have lit my candle. It's a very special candle actually because the lovely penguin class bought this for me at Christmas and it smells absolutely amazing. So here's our candle lit to remind us that God is the light of the world and he is with us every day, and he is going to help us today, I'm sure, with some very, very deep thinking. So I hope you're all ready. Sit up nice and tall and make sure those thinking caps are on and that you're all ready to engage in our assembly today. So I'm going to start by sharing some images with you. And what I would like you to do is just on your own, have a really good think about what you notice about these 4 images, because they all have something in common. And I'd like you to think really, really hard. What do they all have in common? But I'd like you to keep those ideas just to yourself for now. Is that okay? Does everyone understand? Brilliant. So let me get ready to share my screen and I'm going to share with you our images. So here is our first image. Have a really, really good look and see if you can think what's happening in that image. Okay. I'm now going to share with you the second image, and I want you to think how it might have something in common with the first image. Okay. And here comes your third image. So again, just keep your ideas to yourself for now. Okay, and our last image. Okay, brilliant. So it's going to go back through those again. Okay, so I wonder what you thought all of those images had in common. I'm sure you're all bursting with ideas. I'm sure all of you have got something you'd like to say. But I would only like to hear today, please, from the boys. Girls, I'm sorry, you can't contribute to this discussion, just the boys. Okay, teachers, could you please press pause now and only hear comments, please, from the boys? Okay, press pause now. Okay, I'm sure that there was some brilliant discussion there. I'm sure you all spotted that there was something missing. In fact, half was missing from each of those pictures. Okay, I'm now going to show you another image. And I'd like you to look really, really closely this time to see if you can tell me what is missing from this image. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Okay, so here comes the image and you tell me what's missing. Have a really, really detailed look and see if you can spot what is missing. I wonder if you can spot where this image is. It's a beautiful painting. I wonder where it was painted. Okay, again, I would like you to press pause now, but I'd only ask the teachers, please, to hear just from the boys. So girls, I'm sorry, you can't contribute to this discussion, just the boys. Okay, press pause now and have a great discussion. Okay, so where do you think this painting was painted? I only want to hear from the boys, please. Okay, so teachers, I'm sure the boys have told you that they think this painting was perhaps painted in the House of Parliament. But I wonder if you can tell me what you think is missing. The other images had half of things missing, so the half might give you a bit of a clue. What is missing from that image? You're quite right. Women are missing from that image. In fact, in the House of Parliament today, there are not half men and half women. But in the past, it was even worse. There were only men represented in the Houses of Parliament. Now, how frustrating, girls, was it not to be able to join in with today's discussion? Boys, how frustrating was it not to be able to hear the opinions of the other half of your class? I wonder what the downside of not being able to hear half our population's opinions would be. Press pause now and have a chat about that. Okay, I'm sure you've talked about things such as unfairness, frustration, injustice. And I'm sure that you've also talked about the fact that we only get half of our brilliant ideas that are out there. So we become less enriched. We don't get everybody's opinion. When we share and we collaborate, we achieve so much more. Now, in our assemblies this week, we have been thinking about collaboration and how when we work together, we can make our world a better place. Now, women have been striving for a very, very long time to ensure that their voices are heard. And I wonder if you can think what group of women collaborated together to come together to make the world a better place. I'd love to hear your ideas about if you know anything about this already, or if you know what that group of women were called. Press pause now, and girls, make sure you get your voice heard. Okay, I am sure that some of you would have known about a group of women called the Suffragettes. Okay, and they were a group of women that came together because they were really, really passionate about making sure that women had their voices heard. And some of you may not know, and I didn't until recently actually, that there was also a huge amount of men who really got behind this campaign, and they really, really wanted to make sure that women had their voices heard too. So there was two groups of women in particular that came together, they collaborated, but they worked in slightly different ways. So the first group of women were called Suffragists, and they went about campaigning very peacefully to get their message heard. The word suffrage means the right to vote. So suffragists campaigned for that right to vote through silent protests, through campaigns. They would publicise their message, as you can see in this picture here, with huge posters, getting their message across, as well as they could, but in a very peaceful way. But that message for another group of women was they were getting quite frustrated with that because they felt that people were just not listening. People were walking past these messages, and yes, they read them, but they didn't really become passionate enough to try and help these women to make a difference. So that frustration led to a group of women called the Suffragettes, who were determined to win the right to vote by any means. And they became really, really quite passionate and put their lives on the line, in fact, to make their message much more loud and clear to people. So the Suffragettes were a group of women, and there were some men who were determined to win the vote by any means. And for some of those women, they did in fact sadly lose their lives in the process. But what was amazing was that both groups of women had real impact. And in 1918, the law was finally changed to make things a little fairer. But listen closely to how the law was changed. It allowed women over the age of 30 to vote, but men could be 18. So women had to be 30 and men had to be 18. Does anyone think that that's quite fair? I'm not so sure. Okay, and it kind of gets a little bit worse because women could only vote if they were over 30 and married and their husband owned property. So if you didn't own property and you were female, or your husband didn't own property, then you couldn't vote. So let's have a think about that. To own property, you have to have money. So therefore, if you didn't have money and you didn't have property, you couldn't vote. Is that fair? Possibly not. It would mean that only certain people could vote at all, but all men could vote. So again, a very, very complex system, which meant that only some voices were heard and not every voice. 100 years on, where are we now? Well, now everybody, male and female, gets the chance to vote. And it doesn't matter if you have lots of money or lots of property or you don't. Everybody's voice is valued and everybody's voice is heard. But in the Houses of Parliament, we still only have 32% of the House of Parliament being represented by women. So again, we still have quite an unfair system. I wonder how fair you think it is today. What kind of things do you experience as a girl or a boy? And do you think we are any further on 100 years later? Be a great discussion to have in your class today, I think. So I would love to hear feedback on your discussions. I bet you have some amazing things to share. And I'm sure in your classrooms, you will make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Please do feed back to me because I would really love to hear all of your thoughts and feelings about this assembly today. I really, really look forward to seeing you around school. And again, like I said, I can't wait to hear your opinions on what we've discussed today. So let's put our hands together and we're going to finish today with a prayer. Father God, help us to remember the importance of collaboration and how it ensures that everybody has a chance to be heard and have their thoughts and ideas shared by everybody. Collaboration helps to make the world a much better and fairer place to be. Amen. Children, thank you for listening so beautifully. I will now blow out our beautiful candle and send you off to have an amazing day. Think deeply, work hard, and I can't wait to hear your ideas very soon. Have a lovely, lovely day. See you soon. Bye-bye.